another head-to-head matchup. We just got finished playing the Rack Sack versus Rack Mid matchup, which is funny because Lucas ended up with the Rack Mid side of that matchup, which is not typically... He's typically on the Rack Sack side. So it's fun to kind of see what he goes through a lot of time with basically what his main is. Now we're playing Historic. It's an Historic Showdown. We've rolled randomly for what net deck we're going to be playing. This is a deck I'm at least somewhat comfortable with. It's, Izzet tempo-ish strategy, so I feel like I should be at least more comfortable in this matchup rather than this, playing Sacrifice. I think we're going to mull. This seems good. Ditching Mountain, maybe? Or Otawara. I think we're going to want double red, so maybe I'm going to ditch Otawara. I feel like this is a good starting hand, though. Uh-oh. I'm interested in Expressive Iteration, getting a land, Reckless Charging. The Arcanist swinging, Reckless Charging is going to be the line I'm hoping for. Alternatively, we draw a land. Okay. Jeskai. Interesting. Now I think we do this. A Reckless Charge here. It's a good attack. Sure. That is what the iteration is. Well, ooh. This put me in kind of a tough spot. I want an iteration for a land, for sure. But that means I'm taking this turn off. So maybe we Balmor, and then EI next turn? Kind of soft forces him to have more removal. Okay, let's iteration. I will draw the Wizard's Lightning. That's tough. Oh no, this comes in attack. Never mind. Reckless Charge. Try Reckless Charge. Still not lethal if I Reckless Charge. Smells a lot like removal is the problem. We guess I might as well. Yeah. I think that's fine. F.
I'm known for my keep up the pace.
Okay. Not sure what's correct here. I really want to cast Symmetry Sage, so I think I should. And say go. I might be able to surprise him with this Wizard's Lightning to the face.
Hurry.
Just has so many cards in hand. It's going to be tough. Charm. So right now I'm tanking Wizard's Lightning the Symmetry Sage or Wizard's Lightning face. Or I guess I could Wizard's Lightning Tef. I feel like this is kind of close. Let's go face. Let's just do it. I could cast as Arcanist. This feels like it's walking directly into some sort of removal where it's just 4 mana, do nothing. So the alternative would be something like discharge the Sage. Let's consider first. Den. I feel like that's going to be good here. To any target. Let's discharge face. Shark. Sure. He's looking. He's digging. Okay.
Let's skip to the good part.
It's a lot of card draw in one turn, but it seems desperate. Seek knowledge, okay. Still digging. Play with fire on the top once. One time. Do I even have that in the deck? I have one Spike Shield Hazard. Oh, I do have Play with Fire. Okay, we have a decent number of maps. That's not one of them. Guess let's just make him have it. Okay. I'm hoping that all that card draw was just to keep him alive this turn. He has to do it again. Oh, is this non-land? Oh, that's funny. I would have made the same mistake. Sure. I don't think I've ever seen a Teferi ult. Okay, well, that wouldn't be good. Although it's not the end of the world, I mean.
Hold that thought.
again, we have a lot of good draws on the top. Just see what happens. This is becoming a much grindier game than I was expecting. I'm thinking now I'm about dead. Okay. Do I still have live draws? I guess literally a wizard's landing is a live draw, I think.
Farewell.
Another wild.
I know what must be done. Keep up the pace.
Mm-hmm.
Remember your training.
Is this just my only out? I think so.
Overconfident. You're
Man.
just underwhelmed. I am almost sad to see you go.
Hurry.
Wow.
Let's slow this down.
Okay, well this game is over. Wow, I can't believe I was within one.
Hero.
That game was extremely close. I wonder what he had in hand when he was digging on that one turn.
Strike fast and strike hard.
I guess we'll see. I wonder if he has any way of like winning the game.
Hold that thought.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess Wandering Emperor is one way to do it. Alright, I think we're good here. Wow, super close game. Obviously blew me out in the end. But let's bring in Pierce. Mystical Disputes seem good. Do they seem good? Yes. Roiling Vortex seems good too. This Bone Crusher seems less good. What's the cut? Static Discharge I think we can cut. I'm not in love with Mentor's Guidance either. And one Consider. Let's try that.
Ooh, my audio fucked up, so this is Lucas from the future, here to talk about the board. We're taking out Teferi and we're adding in Fragment Reality so that we can incorporate the combo with Baneslayer Angel and Leyline Binding. Ooh, spooky. The ghost of the future. Right now I'm talking about what 2-drops I want to have, and Dovin's veto just doesn't answer that much. And Supreme Verdict is too slow. Ooh, spooky. Yeah, Supreme Verdict would be a pretty bad decision, mostly because his creatures get in too quickly, and we already have Divine Purge. So while it's good to take care of their creatures, it's not good to do that for 4 mana. We really want to be landing more impactful stuff for 4 mana. And we're putting in the combo of Baneslayer Angel plus Fragment Reality to have a 5/5 life linker on command.
I guess this is just 5-color control, which is not something I was expecting. I was expecting the Karuga version, which is obviously a different deck. Man, 0 lander. Okay. Cut a Soulscar Mage? Cut a Play with Fire? Balmor. Let's cut a... Well, he's going to remove one of them. Let's cut a Play with Fire. Play with Fire deals less damage on turn 2, because I could Reckless Rage, Play with Fire, and like really get in. But I'm anticipating he's going to kill this Soulscar Mage. So, let's go Balmor. The next turn I can Reckless Charge Consider, which would be good. Binding. Sure. Land. Very good. Consider. Arcanist seems good. Oh, maybe I should have saved the Reckless Rage for the Arcanist. There might have been an argument for that. This deals +3, this becomes a 4, becomes a 5, this becomes a 2. So I'm again 1 short. Kind of crazy. Can I afford to just Reckless Rage? I don't think so. Maybe I can. Let's do it again. My thought process here is I'm so dead to that 3-mana removal spell, the 3-mana sweeper, that I'd like to keep some stuff back. Flickering it. What's happening? Sure. What the hell was this? God, I don't know what half these cards do. Okay. Let's get in. Go with Fireface.
Run away. You'll be safer. My judgment is
Awesome.
fine.
Okay, wow, Xaxes. Holy shit. I feel like I am up against a completely different league of deck here. I have no idea what it could just make a Baneslayer on turn 3. And then have Wandering Emperor backup on turn 4. Okay, well, we have to turn the corner quick. I'm now guessing that Arcanist, saving the Reckless Rage for the Arcanist is probably a good idea. I think the board is fine. Let's run it. Interesting. I'm interested in this Roiling Vortex, so I'm probably going to keep this hand. I don't know if that's good or not, but I guess let's see. So this is a much grindier hand. We're going to Mountain, play with Fire Face, Roiling Vortex, Expressive Iteration turn 3, I think. And then see where that takes us. And try to set up like an explosive turn 4, if we can. I think to him, turn 1 go is going to be kind of confusing. Another Arcanist I'm not totally interested in. Yeah, should be. Kind of makes that decision for us. So we go. This is much more the tempo version of this deck, where it's like keep them off balance, counter spells, incremental damage. Do we crack Iteration again? Kind of into it. I'm also kind of into just getting this Arcanist down. What is it even getting back? Let's Iteration again. Symmetry Sage. Sure, I'm into drawing Symmetry Sage. Putting this back. This comes in tapped, but I think we're fine with that. I'm half expecting this to just be a slam Teferi. Sure. It's not a slam Teferi. So, what are we looking at now? Symmetry Sage, maybe? I want to keep this. Let's play this on blue. And Symmetry Sage. See what happens. And then Arcanist, leaving up Mystical Dispute and Wizard's Lightning and Roiling Vortex activation. Considering I'm going long against a control deck, I feel like I'm in an okay spot. Say go. Seek knowledge, you can have that. Land. Yeah, I think I have to let a lot of stuff go here. Go ahead. That's tough. Please. Reckless Charge. Let's do this. What's happening here? I am now flooded, unfortunately. Kind of the downside of boarding in something like Mystical Dispute is you do flood with it occasionally. Or it gets stuck in your hand, rather. You'd much rather this be something else. Interesting. Let's Mystical Dispute this. I just don't think there's going to be a time when Mystical Dispute's better in this game. Eventually you get to the point where you just have too many sources, and they can just pay for the dispute. So I think that's the best that dispute's gonna be. And there is some argument to countering the draw spell rather than countering the payoff. Is a general heuristic. Let's Soulscar Mage. Let's pay 2. Soulscar Mage. Reckless Rage Den. Sure. He does get to gain some life.
I am here for a consoler. I am almost sad to see you go.
Do these gain haste? No. Purge. Okay.
We've got the edge of this fight.
Wizard's Lightning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm down a mana. Alternatively, I could Soulscar Mage and Reckless Charge, which would win me the game. I could Soulscar Mage. I think regardless, Soulscar Mage is right here. Well, hold on. Let's play the Soulscar Mage. Comes in tapped, right? That's fine. Let's say go, I think. Or I can prevent... Because I could just kill the... What's it? Oh, maybe that wasn't right. Maybe I should have lightninged on his... on my end step. Prevent the untap. Not sure. I was tanking to kill the Wandering Emperor here so that they don't get a blocker, but I don't think the blocker actually matters. I could always just lightning face. We're gonna prevent
Try not to miss
this. I'm gonna lightning face. And then the Roiling Vortex should win me on his upkeep.
You are not much of a roadblock.
Tef? Sure.
Sorry I'm late.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Reverse.
Still think I win? Yeah. We'll cancel. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I guess it doesn't matter, but... And that's game. Wow. That was a close game and a really interesting game 3. I wasn't expecting to play a super grindy game like that. Well, I mean, I was with my opening hand, but I wasn't expecting this deck to do a grindy game like that in such a way.
That game was so sweet. That was awesome.
Super interesting game 3, dude.
Holy shit. That was awesome.
That game was crazy. So, I'm like a bit of a prophet. I won't say a real prophet, but basically my starting hand, I said from the beginning, I was like, we're gonna grind this on game 3. Game 3 is gonna be, because I started with 2 expressive iteration and like an Arcanist, and that's it, and some lands. And I'm like, I'm keeping. We're not doing shit until like turn 6. But we're gonna be trading resources back and forth. And I'm totally surprised that this Wizards deck was able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, that really feels like it felt like you were always threatening to like just close out in a second. You had like 9 points of damage worth of reach every single turn.
Yeah, but there's this like really thin line between like outright going for it, or you're just completely screwed if you find the right card. Like that that 3-mana sweeper that makes everything come back. It was a Divine Purge.
Yeah.
Completely hamstrung me game 1. And I also wasn't expecting it. And so I was playing around it super hard because making my 1-mana cards 3 mana is really hard, really bad for me.
Yeah,
like
and
basically makes them unplayable. Yeah, it makes them almost unplayable. Exactly. So it was really hard to play around that, and because you're obviously incentivized to bait me into overextending, so that just like way over. So like, I'm interested to see the side by side on the 2 games as to when I was playing around the correct stuff and when I wasn't. And obviously, like part of playing Magic, right, is like you never really know. Like this, you should play around things even if your opponent doesn't have them in their hand because you have no way of knowing.
Of course.
But regardless, like I'm interested to see like whether or not those decisions were right, and I think that's going to be a great podcast game to go over if you want to go over it like kind of side by side, turn by turn. Not the full match, obviously, but.
Well, yeah. I'm curious to just like watch the match back because I'd love to.
Yeah, me too.
Commentary is with that last game. I saw you cast 2 expressive iterations, and I'm like, okay, I am happy about this situation because he's not affecting the board, and I ate my fucking words.
No, I knew you were happy because there was a time where I'm like, I could just play out this iteration, and he probably has nothing he can do against it. Because part of the thing is, right, like, and this also comes from a little bit of experience playing these kinds of decks a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The way you lose is by playing into your opponent's what your opponent wants you to do, and that's like generally correct across Magic in general. But my creatures I think are a lot more valuable than your removal spells, and being in a situation where I could just get a more explosive turn later is going to benefit me a lot, rather than, for instance, playing a 2-drop. Instead of the expressive iteration, you kill it, and now I'm screwed. Right? So, like, let's play the iteration so that we can have more creatures, and it baits your removal a lot better. Because I'll play the 1-drop, and then I'll wait for you to do something, and then I'll play another one, I'll wait for you to do something. And each time you have to make some sort of decision as the control player, and that makes your removal spells a lot more valuable than my creature spells in that scenario. But if we're just 1-for-1ing, I'm totally behind.
Yeah.
Whereas if I just set up an EI, like, what are you going to do about that? I'm just preparing myself for a more explosive future turn.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, those control decisions, not particularly tough. They're like, it's playing a flowchart, dude.
No, I know. And we've said this in the past. Like, I think the control mirror is probably the hardest matchup to play. But control against other stuff is, I think, kind of, like you said, a flowchart. It kind of plays itself.
Yeah. I was so upset. I showed you my Parmesan and didn't actually do it correctly.
Which one was that? You oops, and I couldn't exactly tell what the issue was.
I oopsed because I thought I was going to ambush your creature with.
I saw that.
Baneslayer.
I said in the match, I'm like, I have no idea what just happened, but that's kind of busted.
Yeah, and I fucked that up so badly.
I mean, it was still a great play because 5-mana lifelink. I mean, 5-power lifelink is just kind of tough. Like, I can't really do much.
I mean, it's there. It's not a bad thing to do. It's just like I thought I was going to be able to ambush your thing, and it didn't.
Yeah. The Roiling Vortex, obviously a huge part of that game 3. And a main reason why I kept that hand. It was like 2 EIs, some lands, and a Roiling Vortex.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Vortex will eventually win the game.
I had answers in my deck for it. Like, I have 4 Leyline bindings. That can take it out. you know?
Right. Yep.
So I wasn't really afraid until I got down to like 6 life, and I'm like, oh fuck, this thing's gonna kill me.
Yeah. Well, but that's also the thing, right? That's I said during game 3, like this is much more of a tempo-y sort of draw than an aggro draw, where it's like I'm gonna put something out here that's eventually gonna kill you, and I
Yeah.
have answers in my hand. Like I had that mystical dispute in my hand basically the whole game,
Mhm.
just waiting for you to like try to commit to the board to deal with my pressure. And so, I guess one final question. I decided to mystical dispute the Archmage's Charm.
Yeah, I knew you had the mystical dispute in hand.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just
And-
did it to like. I think
Yeah,
it
to get it
probably
out.
would have been bad. I think it was the right place to do it, but I
Mhm.
was trying to trade for the mystical dispute to try and
Interesting.
clear up a route for Tef so that he could minus on your fella.
Yeah.
But the problem was you kept up 2 mana the whole time. So later on, when I had the chance to play it again, I was like, well, shit, he probably has another one.
Oh, interesting.
So then I sort of like figured out a line. This was the turn where I exiled the Den of the Bugbear,
Yep.
where I was like, oh, well, I kind of want to do this, and like I can't play Tef anyway, right?
Mhm.
Because you're just gonna kill him with Den of the Bugbear if I do that.
Mhm.
I had
Mhm.
2 Tefs in hand, so maybe it was worth it. But like, I think all of the factors coming together, it was better to just not play it and play out Wandering Emperor.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm super excited to watch that game back.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Oh, the other thing with the game where I ulted Tef, which
Yeah.
fun way to win, but
Sure, yeah. I had said
but
in the game I'd never seen a Tef ult. I'm like, I know.
I will say the I didn't have a counter for a lot of those turns at the end there.
I know.
And
I know, I was
was
pissed.
searching so fucking hard because
I know, I was so
any
mad.
burn spell would have killed me.
I know, I was so mad because you drew like 15 cards one turn. Like,
Yeah, it's like I'm
Like,
obviously digging.
yeah, I'm like he's digging so hard, and he like you saw like no lie, I think you saw like 8 cards or something, or
Mhm.
like between your like seeking cards out of your library and cycling and doing all these other things, and I'm like, man, I'm so close to lethal, and he just saw a ton. Like, there's no way he doesn't have something now.
Mhm.
And so like that's when you like triple Leyline binding me, and I was like, oh okay, he found something. But there's so many answers in the deck too that if you see enough cards, like they're not all wins. Like a burn spell would have won, but a lot of cards were good against me.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about sideboarding?
Sure. I mean, I think this matchup's a bit of an easier sideboard. Like it's a classic control versus aggro matchup, and so like going faster is important. I will say, I think I only had a couple. I boarded in the mystical disputes, but you'll see in the gameplay like boarding in counter spells against a control deck is a bit of a fine line,
Mhm.
because especially modern counter spells, which you could typically pay for. Because you just get to a point where if you deal with all my stuff and you just wait long enough to cast your Teferi, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
Even
And
with even
that
with the
was what I
counter
was
spell.
doing. I was just waiting until I had 3 extra mana.
Right. And so that's what the game becomes. It's like, can I apply enough pressure to you before you can turn the corner? Obviously. And it means that Mystical Dispute is only good in a certain number of like turns. Because it doesn't really counter your white removal, right? And it doesn't counter your Wandering Emperor.
Yeah.
So there's only a select few things that it actually interacts with. But it does interact very well with your best thing. So
Which is Tef and Archmage's
Yeah.
Charm.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Do you have any opinions on just that as a heuristic? Like when you have sideboard tech that's good against something narrow in the opponent's deck, but it's very good when it's good. Like do you have a line for that? A line you draw for that?
I think there's no like heuristic that really fits. It really is card dependent, right? Because it all depends on like how key is that card and how important is that. Like the reason why you would not board in Mystical Dispute against Tef is because the strategy of the blue-white control deck is to just wait until the late game to close, right?
Right.
Tef is a good thing. Tef can turn a corner, but what's
Yeah,
really
for sure.
turning the corner is all of the interaction.
Right. Which Mystical Dispute isn't very good against. A
Yeah.
lot of it.
Yeah, because
Um,
I've got a lot of white interaction in the deck.
Yeah, so maybe going back, I maybe wouldn't have boarded in the Mystical Disputes. The other thing is, like, there wasn't a ton in my board that was better.
Mhm.
Like, Bone Crusher was an option. And I just think the 2-mana Stomping Face is not at all what you want to do. It's just going to end up being 3-mana 4/3, which is good.
Yeah, there's also
Um,
other cards that, like, if they're a different style of control deck, it makes
Yeah.
sense to board in Mystical Dispute. Like, if I was running Memory Deluge, I'd
Sure.
probably board it in.
Sure.
Like,
And
it's just like, Divine Purge, Wandering Emperor, and like Lay Down Arms.
yeah, that's everything right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there is also this idea of diluting a good aggro deck. Like, I a lot of times in that game probably would have preferred a Wizard's Lightning instead of the Mystical Dispute,
Mhm.
just for additional pressure. Now the Mystical Dispute ended up being good, or fine, I guess, but it was fine on turn like 7,
Yeah.
which is not ideal. Now I didn't get an ideal draw either. I got a more grindy draw, but I mean, these are all the things you have to be considering, I think.
Yeah. On the control side, I mean, the only thing that was kind of like I wasn't 100% sure about, I did board out Supreme Verdict. I don't think it was good against your deck. And
Probably
I did
not.
board
Yeah,
out.
I think that's fair.
The other thing I boarded out was Dovin's Veto, which
Ooh, I don't know.
I'm a little bit like on the edge about, because your burn spells are important, but killing your creatures is a lot more important, and Dovin's Veto doesn't do that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I think I would have kept. I think I would have boarded one out if I needed to make room, but I think I probably would have erred on the side of keeping them. Did you board them out in game 2 and 3?
Yes, I kept the same.
Yeah,
board.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
was happy with the way that the game was. I was happy with my board both times, but I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't have been, because a counterspell would have been super important in the last game, and I didn't realize. But the only other counterspells I have are Archmage's Charm.
Yeah, you don't want to use Archmage's Charm as a counterspell in that matchup,
Yeah.
which is tough. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think keeping Archmage's Charm in is good because stealing a creature is so good in that
Oh no,
match.
keeping
You have so.
no, keeping Archmage's Charm for sure.
Yeah.
I didn't board that out.
Mhm.
It was Dovin's Veto that I was like, it's just negate,
Mhm. I know, but they're like that deck negate does so much because like there was a turn when I did like 9 or 10 damage in one turn just because I had a Reckless Rage.
Mhm.
Like saving some of that life is good.
Yeah, it's
Um,
probably better than Seek New Knowledge is the thing. Like,
And-
Seek New Knowledge was just sort of smoothing, and
Yeah.
maybe I can get away without it.
I think you might have been able to like. Are you running? You're not running Helix, are you?
No.
Yeah, I think a Lightning Helix in that game in that matchup would have been awesome and maybe a good sideboard piece.
Helix is reasonable. It's a tough mana constraint, and this is a net deck, so.
No, I know. I'm not saying for you. I'm saying just for the listener, Lucas. If you're
For the
trying to
listener.
improve,
For sure, definitely, like, something to consider.
Sure.
But being Jeskai and Domain at the same time, and casting Archmage's Charm, like, it becomes like
Yeah,
you've got.
I guess I don't know the
constraints. Divine Per.
I-
Here, I'll put the
Yeah, I don't
list on
know
the
it-
stream right now.
if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, because I don't know the specifics of the deck, but I'm just thinking generally as a deck with access to a lot of colors. Helix is probably better than Dovin's Veto, at least in that spot.
Oh, for sure. Like, I would much
Yeah.
rather have Dovin's Veto. But the real problem is I've got so many color requirements. Archmage's Charm, Divine Purge, Supreme Verdict, Dovin's Veto. All of those are really intensive. Like, to the point where...
Are you only domain just for the Leyline binding?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Interesting. And what do you think about the deck?
I think the deck's cool. I think it's... I like the... I think that this is has the potential to be, like, a successful control deck. Like, it's
Mhm.
good at controlling the opponent. You just kind of need to play it right. It'd be nice if I had more, like, early stuff to do.
Yeah, I was gonna say the flat curve is kind of odd. Although the Kaleem you can
The
cycle,
Kaleem's
right?
a 2, and in the
Yeah,
original deck, it had 4 Kaleems.
yeah,
But I couldn't fit 4 in, so I put a Tef, Time Reveler, and a Laydown Arms.
sure. I think that's fine. And then the Shark Typhoon is really a 4, like a 3 or a 4. I
Yeah,
guess it's 2, 3, or 4 a lot of the time.
let's just say it's 3, and then it's like, it's more hovering around the right thing. Leyline Binding, I'm hoping to cast it for 2 all the time.
Hmm.
But I don't really cast this on curve a lot. It's really just
Yeah,
to
but yeah,
answer
yeah,
things. So, I mean, this curve makes a lot more sense.
this curve looks great.
um, the other thing is, I'm super happy with the
Can you
spice.
yeah, can you hover over that? I couldn't entirely understand what the hell was going on. Take an artifact. Controller puts a random creature card from their library. So you boarded. Where's the? You boarded into
So
the.
I boarded into Baneslayer Angel.
Right.
It's the only creature that I have below Leyline Binding.
Mm-hmm.
So I can target Leyline Binding and just tutor up a Baneslayer Angel onto the field.
I think that's fine. That's
It's sweet.
awesome
It's a
tech.
very cool,
But it
like, little
good
piece of
probably
interaction.
in the mirror too. Probably good in the mirror if
Oh
somebody's
yeah.
not expecting that.
Thing
Um,
is, you probably don't board in Fragment Reality in the mirror. In which case, you probably don't board in Baneslayer Angel in the mirror.
I guess I'm just thinking about any incidental ways of getting aggression in the mirror is good, and like turn 3 or whatever it is, Baneslayer Angel is probably fine.
Mm-hmm. I don't
And
know.
maybe get
The other
spicy,
way
you
of
know?
winning it is just win the card battle. You know.
Yeah, I suppose. I'm just thinking of ways of beating the mirror that aren't traditional,
Yeah.
especially if you're trying to beat a ladder kind of meta. Playing in a way that the people don't expect is tends to get you a couple percent.
Yeah. All right.
Okay,
So
that's
I
been
feel
it
like
for this showdown.
that's been it for the showdown. We'll put these together at some point, and we'll, you know,
Yeah.
take a look at both
Oh yeah.
sides of the match. I'm really excited to see the other side of the matches.
Yeah. Me too.